How's it going, everyone? Today I'll be using this Black Widow protection deck to take on Crossbones on heroic difficulty. As a reminder, my channel goal is to try to beat every scenario in the game on heroic difficulty using a different hero. So now I'm working my way through the Rise of the Red Skull scenarios. Doing them a bit out of order. I already did Zola because I wanted to face him with the Winter Soldier who just came out. But now we're starting back at the beginning with the first scenario in the box, Crossbones. And I'm really excited to play this deck. This is the first deck on the channel in which I'll be heavily exploiting Ready for a Fight, a card that I think is a real game changer for protection, especially solo protection. This came in the Silk pack, which as of recording this didn't come out too long ago. But it's this preparation that when an enemy would scheme, we discard Ready for a Fight, change to hero form, that enemy attacks instead. So this just does so much for protection, especially for Black Widow, we'll talk about in a sec. But right, protection's greatest weakness is always thwarting. So on the one hand, it turns a scheme into an attack, which is much easier to counter and defend. Really protects you from the main scheme advancing, especially in solo. But the really nice thing, especially for Black Widow, is it lets us access all of the alter ego abilities we want to do every turn, while still being in hero form as we enter the villain phase. And so this is just absolutely perfect for Black Widow. When we get to go to alter ego form, we get to use her alter ego ability of drawing a card after we play a preparation. We've got Safe House, which is an alter ego action, essentially draw a card. Leo Fitz, very strong alter ego action to search our deck for a tech card and add it to hand. And then, of course, when we end the player phase, we draw up to our alter ego hand size before flipping Ready for a Fight. So that's like 4 cards worth of value from going to alter ego form. But then Black Widow really wants to spend the villain phase in hero form because all of her preparations are hero responses or hero interrupts. So it gives us exactly what we want during the player phase in alter ego form, but then also during the villain phase in hero form. So it really helps Natasha tick. So really this is the focal point of this deck. We've got a few extra preparations just to round things out. Of course, every preparation represents some amount of value for Natasha. So 1 espionage, draw 2, and we resolve a surge. Defensive stance, probably the worst one, but having one ofs a bunch of different things is generally better than multiple copies of the same thing, just because we can use Safe House as a tutor. And then practice plan, just to get something back in hand. We've got Change of Fortune here. I'm only playing 1 copy. We're not super built around it, but Black Widow naturally works very well with Change of Fortune due to her hero ability dealing damage to enemies during the villain phase. So we can get a minion down to 1 health, go to alter ego form, and then when Ready for a Fight, flips us to hero form. And when an enemy tries to scheme, ping that minion for 1, draw 2 off Change of Fortune. Not too difficult to set up. Of course, Gemma and Leo, just extremely efficient cards when we have a character with the shield trait. So we don't have the shield trait in hero form, but we do in alter ego. So we will hope to play them there. With Black Widow, lots of her preparations are already techs. The gauntlets are techs. She's got the synth suit. I have added 3 energy barrier, so this is another tech that's just a good card on rate. So gives me more techs to hit with Leo Fitz. Helps with Change of Fortune a little bit, another way to point damage at enemies during the villain phase. Just for some additional setup, we've got superpower training to help go find a synth suit. We've got build support to go get Quinn Carrier, which we can also just play from hand, but a little more efficient to do it that way. Looking at the allies, a bunch of staples, of course. We've got Agent 13, who can ready Safe House 29 after she attacks or thwarts, so great value there. And then White Widow, this is another relatively new card from the Winter Soldier hero pack, but works very well with preparation. So after we resolve a preparation, we heal damage from her equal to that card's printed resource cost. So effectively, this is a permanent ally. Kind of a tempo hit, right? 5 ER to thwart for 2 on the turn it comes down, but this can realistically thwart for 2 every turn the rest of the game, so that is a great thwarting option for protection. Winter Widow Soldier Spy, a new team-up card for Black Widow and Winter Soldier. It's very good on rate. Face the Past, very good for Natasha. Taskmaster, her nemesis, only has 4 health, so not that hard to defeat. And then it tees up a minion that we could kill with Change of Fortune as well. Last thing to point out here, really one of the exciting things about this deck is we're literally playing 6 1-cost resource generators, right? Safe House, 2 Gauntlets, Change of Fortune, and these guys. So an incredibly high output deck, assuming we get a little bit of time to set up, but we can set up very fast, and then we'll get into this rhythm of going to alter ego turn, going to alter ego form to do all our stuff, flip back to hero form for the villain phase, and hopefully be pretty protected between all of our preparations, and hopefully control the game pretty well, all while dishing out damage with Black Widow's hero ability. Quick shout out to the Winning Hand podcast for providing me this Black Widow alternate art card from the Con of Heroes 2025. So shout out to them for designing that. We're going to get into next the scenario breakdown, or you're welcome, of course, to skip to the game. But let's talk about Crossbones here next. So let's take a look at the Crossbones scenario. Always good to study a little bit if we're going to try to win a game on high difficulty. Know what sort of encounter cards to play around, inform how we might want to build our deck to counter Crossbones. And the first thing I want to point out about Crossbones is he's got a kind of unique main scheme sequence. He's got 3 main schemes, but they all have incredibly low thresholds. So 3 threat, 6 threat, and 5 threat. So this is one reason I really like the matchup of this Black Widow protection deck, because we will very rarely have to encounter Crossbones scheming as his activation during the villain phase, because Ready for a Fight will flip us to hero form and make him attack us. So it's a decent matchup there, but of course, if you're planning another matchup for Crossbones, this is something to be very wary of. Make sure you're packing Confuses, or just make sure you're prepared to stay in hero form for a substantial part of the game. Another theme of Crossbones is interacting with weapons. So I'm playing the recommended modular sets today, but Weapon Master is a modular set that comes with a couple weapons. Crossbones has his machine gun that's actually going to start the game attached to him in expert mode. And I guess where most of the weapons come from is from the experimental weapons deck. This is a 4-card deck that we make at the start of the game, and we reveal cards as we either progress through the side schemes or reveal the next stage of Crossbones. So these weapons all represent some kind of buff to Crossbones, but in reality they're kind of blank encounter cards. I mean, if you take a look at the Weapon Master ones, like +1 attack gains ranged. I mean, in general, if we're building a high power level deck, we're going to be neutralizing every attack either with an ally block or by stunning the villain. So honestly, these weapons are pretty great draws. We don't really need to build our deck so much around being able to discard them. We'd prefer to just ignore them and do everything else efficiently. Some of the treacheries that Crossbones has: Raid the Armory does have Insight 1, so always notable when a card can either deal us damage or add threat to the main scheme outside of an activation. So Insight 1 there could add 1 threat to the main scheme, and then we discard from the deck until we hit a weapon. Hard as Nails is pretty much a whiff, gives the villain a tough status or heals 3, so that is a great one to see. And then we come to the single most important card to be aware of while playing Crossbones: Full Auto. If you remember nothing else from this kind of scenario tips, just remember to play around these 2 copies of Full Auto. In Alter Ego it surges, but in hero form we discard X cards from the top of the encounter deck, where X is Crossbones attack. Take 1 indirect damage for each boost icon discarded this way. So this represents a ton of non-attack damage. So even if we've got some ally blocks, even if Crossbones is stunned, we still have to play around this card because it is not an attack. So this does give us maybe a small reason to discard some of these weapons over time, but if our game plan is to ignore them, then Crossbones will have maybe 4 or 5 attack at some point in the game, and full auto can kill us from a really high health total. So either just keep a high health total with recovering, or yeah, I guess it's just a really tricky one, and to always play around. In our case with Black Widow, another good matchup here. Black Widow's got 2 copies of Grappling Hook, which can cancel a treachery, so full auto has a high likelihood to get canceled by Grappling Hook this game. It's one of those cards where, you know, if we see an encounter card we don't particularly like as our first card and it's a treachery, we still might not want to cancel it, because if that second card is a full auto, we could easily just die there. So save our Grappling Hooks for these full autos and for, of course, the worst standard cards like Under Fire or Exhaustion or Shadow of the Past. Like I said, going with the recommended modular sets here today, we've got Hydra Assault, which gives us a ton of minions, none of which are too bad. Hydra Flame Soldier doesn't really do anything until it attacks us, so it's not that bad. And then Hydra Jet Trooper does quick strike, but it's got 0 scheme, and it's only got 3 health, so not that bad. We do, however, have Legions of Hydra, legitimately one of the hardest modular sets in the game. We've got 3 delayed surge minions with Hydra Soldier, and then Legions of Hydra is this side scheme that will go fetch Madame Hydra, so she's a 6 health minion, and then Legions of Hydra will end up with 7 threat on it, because we'll have at least 2 Hydra enemies in play when that comes out. So just a brutal set of cards there. So not really a way for us to play around it, especially in this matchup, since Grappling Hook can only cancel treacheries, but definitely something to be wary of. And then Weapon Master, a notable card I didn't mention yet is the card named Weapon Master. So this is a scheme or an attack activation. If the villain has a weapon, this card gains Surge. So especially because of this strategy, very often that is going to represent a surge on that attack. So definitely something to watch out for. Another great candidate to cancel with Grappling Hook. And basically what you want to do, I mean, you basically want to discard all the weapons or discard none of the weapons and kind of live with your decision, because if we discard none of the weapons, like, sure, this will surge, but every weapon we draw is effectively a blank. Whereas if you spend some resources discarding a weapon, now you avoid this surging, but now you've had to spend some resources to address this encounter card that you might not have had to do. So my general plan is going to be to ignore them. Opportunistically, we might discard them, but not the plan overall. A few side schemes here, not a super side scheme heavy scenario, I guess, with the exception of Legions of Hydra, which is a massive priority to remove because of those crisis icons. But Crossbones Assault we might ignore. When defeated, Crossbones, it activates against us, so that could easily be worse than just keeping an acceleration in play. And here's a crisis, so right, we'll need to defeat that if we want to thwart the main scheme, but only comes in with, well, I guess it comes in with a variable amount of threat, but it only might come in with 3 or 4 threat, but I guess it could come in with 6. So there we go. Yeah, biggest things, just kind of decide what you're going to do to counter the weapons, and also make sure you've got a plan for the main schemes because of how low their threshold is. So for both those reasons, I mean, Black Widow matches up pretty well here, being able to, well, I guess not so much on the weapons part, but just because of the main scheme, and being able to spend every turn in hero form. So without further ado, let's get into the game. Black Widow versus Crossbones on heroic difficulty. So starting things off, we'll create the experimental weapons deck. Got the 4 of them here. And then once we flip to main scheme 1B, we'll reveal the top card. So we've got the Exosuit, which is +1 scheme, +1 attack. Spend 1 of each resource type to discard this card. Then we've got the Crossbones. When revealed, search up Crossbones machine gun and attach it to him. So we've got that already. Starts with 2 ammo counters. And there's a forced interrupt. When Crossbone attacks, remove 1 ammo counter and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons on the discarded card. So definitely some draws where we take a lot of damage on turn 1, either just with an extra attack that we don't have a blocker ready for. Full auto, of course, always a card to be afraid of. So very real possibility of just staying in Alter Ego this first turn. Get some more preparations out. Get an ally or two ready to block. And in the opening hand, just looking for as many of those cheap one-cost resource generators as we can. Leofits, Gemma, the gauntlets, safe house. All right, we're ready to go. Okay, so Mockingbird gives me a compelling reason to go to hero form this turn. So I like Mockingbird and the double. Obviously we'll keep a gauntlet. I could just keep Widow's Bite because it is a preparation to play, makes me use my gauntlet, makes me draw a card. So I think I'm gonna keep it actually. Now Dance of Death is definitely a mulligan. And Face the Past is interesting because we've actually got the Widow's Bite. Taskmaster is not very scary here on this turn 1. So it's actually kind of interesting. Don't get a ton of use from the ready this turn. There's nothing to thwart yet. Let's just wait on Face the Past. I mean, it's going to be very good later as well. So let's mulligan these two. Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I don't really get to play all 3 of these, I don't think. Well, unless I skip, like, Mockingbird. So let's just say I pay this for Gemma. Or let's say I pay Mockingbird for Gemma, Gemma for Gauntlet, Gauntlet for Widow's Bite, draw a card, play that, pay that for Gauntlet. I mean, that's a lot of value. And 1 card inefficient, I guess. I think I like Mockingbird too much to give up on that. So would I rather play Gemma or a Gauntlet? I think I'd rather skip 1 Gauntlet. So let's, yeah, it feels bad, but I think Gemma is a little better than Gauntlet number 2. Yeah. So let's pay 1 for Gemma, pay 1 for a tech, pay 1 for a preparation, and draw a card. Pay 3 for Mockingbird, stunning Crossbones. And now I do think well, let's see. If I stay in Alter Ego form, we for sure advance. If we get hit with a second scheme, we have a small chance of advancing again. We'd need to hit a triple boost, but we'll get another weapon. I'm gonna try stay in Alter Ego here. I think just the activation is not worth anything. The extra card in hand is gonna be nice. So let's stay in alter ego form. I still think, given all that, I still don't hate making the Mockingbird play. Oh wow. All 3 energy barriers. Because now, I mean, just this turn, if I go to, assuming I go to hero form, it's just that much better. So we'll put 1 on the main scheme. Crossbones schemes for 3 plus a boost of 1, so it was going to advance no matter what. So main scheme 2 flips to 2B. Oh, I guess this does come in with 1 threat, so we are at risk of going to scheme 3 if we get hit with an extra advance. And when revealed, reveal the top card of the experimental weapons deck. +1 attack. When the villain attacks, it gains ranged. Okay, and then our 2 encounter cards. Crossbones armor gives him +1/+1, and then the next 5 damage he would take goes on there instead. And then a side scheme, cornered staff. When revealed, discard 1 card from the top of the encounter deck. Place 1 additional threat here for each boost icon discarded this way. So 1 additional, and this is pretty good actually. I mean, this is very lucky. We've got rid of both weapon masters, which would be an activation with Surge for a substantial portion of the game here. So quite lucky there, and both these cards really aren't that bad. So definitely a good first turn. But my hand doesn't look the best, to be honest. Let's start by paying the Gauntlet for the only preparation I have. So we'll draw a card. I could clear build support to continue developing. We'll get Quinn Carrier, and I can play 2 2-cost cards. And that all works pretty well. It slows me down from clearing this, but I'm going to have to live with that. Pay 1 for build support. We'll clear it right away with, so we'll flip, clear it with Black Widow and Mockingbird. Go get Quinn Carrier. Quinn Carrier is going to be very good at discarding some of these weapons. Not in too much of a rush to do that. This does make me think, is discarding a weapon ever better than playing one of these 2-cost cards? No. Well, I could pay 2 for grappling hook, and then I could discard laser rifle. I don't think that's worth it. Let's pay 2 for grappling hook, including Gemma Simmons, because this is a tech. And we'll pay 2 for energy barrier. Comes in with 3 counters. And end the turn. Okay, there's our first ready for a fight, and our second ready for a fight. So good possible sequence here with Professor X and a ready for a fight for good value. We'll start with 1 on the main scheme. Crossbones is stunned. This force interrupt does not trigger because he did not actually attack. And then 2 encounter cards. So Legions of Hydra. Really wish I could cancel that, but grappling hook only cancels treacheries. So when revealed, we're going to search up Madame Hydra, put her into play, engage with us. Place 2 additional threat here for each Hydra enemy in play. That's going to get 7 threat. Madame Hydra cannot take damage while the Legions of Hydra side scheme is in play. So I could Widow's Bite. I can't deal her damage, but the stun could be beneficial. I think I probably wait. All right, this comes in with 7 threats. That is going to take a lot to clear. And I don't have enough at present. So let's look at card number 2. Another Legions of Hydra. So if she wasn't in play, we would go search her up. But nothing extra happens if she's already in play, so we just got another lovely 7 threat side scheme to clear. And in all likelihood, we'll not be clearing either of those. So it could be a quick exit here for this game. Well, I've got a thwart for 2. All right, flip down. Widow's Gauntlet for ready for a fight. Draw a card. Okay. I'm 1 shy from playing White Widow and Professor X, though. No, I'm 2 shy. I think Professor X probably has to be the play, though. And then I'm probably just, I might be discarding a weapon here. Well, okay, I'm almost certainly losing, so maybe I shouldn't think about this too hard. So if I do just play White Widow, I mean, this is going to be more thwarting over the upcoming turns. I'll need to use Mockingbird to block this attack. I can keep one of them in hand for sure. Yeah, so okay, maybe I just play Professor X, but I keep White Widow in hand. White Widow is better resource utilization this turn. So actually, I think I just play her. So Quinn Carrier for 1, +3 for White Widow. Get out Practice Plan. Thwart for 3. On Legions of Hydra. And end the turn. Okay, I mean, a good thwarting hand here with Nick and Professor X. I mean, not good enough to clear both of these, I don't think, but it's something. Okay, so we put one threat on the main scheme. Then Crossbones is about to scheme, and I'm thinking about it one more second, but almost certainly will ready for a fight here. We'll pop the main scheme, we'll get another weapon. One option is like to flip when Madame Hydra would scheme. I'm not really, honestly not making great use of preparations this turn. Okay, I'm actually thinking I should just stay down. I can always flip if I need to, because if we see an advance. I also, okay. I think honestly a bigger thing is maybe I just need to use my health as a resource. So, okay, let's ready for a fight. We'll trigger Widowmaker. We'll deal 1 damage to Crossbones, which goes on the armor. I'm going to save Practiced Plan just because I've got, I mean, the damage doesn't really matter so much right now. I can always get that back with Safe House this turn. So, okay. So Crossbones attacks, we do this interrupt. Top card of the deck has 0 boost icons, so we'll take 0 damage there. And Mockingbird will defend. As a boost ability, give the villain a tough status card. Long time before I'll be worrying about that. Now Madame Hydra attacks. Just going to take this 2. After she attacks, place 2 threat on the Legions of Hydra side scheme. So I don't know the ruling for this, if they are both supposed to get it or if just one of them is. Grim Rule would say to put it on both, but that seems kind of dumb to me, so I'm going to just put it on one. I'm sure there's a ruling out there somewhere, but I'd rather not cut the video to go find it. All right, 4 encounter cards. No, sorry. Yeah, 4 encounter cards. Start with a Combat Knife. +1 attack, attacks gain piercing. Hydra Bomber, either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. I might be just having to eat another attack here. I mean, the threat on the main scheme is a lot bigger a deal than it sounds because it's kind of like a whole turn because I won't be able to thwart this for a long time. I think let's take 2 damage. I'm also going to, okay, I'm going to heal 1 from White Widow. Had a window to respond after resolving ready for a fight. Heal damage equal to that card's printed resource cost. So we'll heal 1 from White Widow. Okay, Hydra Jet Trooper is Going to quick strike. Oh, I should have, okay. Well, I can't take it back now. I should have energy barrier. You know what, I don't care. I'm gonna say that I energy barriered this 2 damage. So I'm only gonna take 1, and I'm gonna put 1 onto the Hydra Bomber. I think I almost certainly would have done that regardless of what this card is, because if I'm expecting a treachery, then grappling hook would give me an extra damage to take this out. So, but now this is gonna quick strike. Let's stack these up a little bit. So I'm going to, I might Widow's Bite this actually. Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy Widow's Bite. So because of the dumb ruling, quick strike does still go through. So I'm gonna energy barrier 1 of it. Oh wait, no, sorry, this is a lie, this is a lie. It only goes through if this doesn't actually kill the minion. So triggering Widow's Bite will deal it 2 damage. Widowmaker will deal it 1 damage. So now it's dead. The ruling is if you apply the stun upon a minion entering with quick strike, the quick strike has still had the ability to trigger, so you still get attacked unless the minion is dead. So we just killed it there before it got to attack. Now there is a small chance that I want to practiced plan that Widow's Bite. Reason being, gives me a tech to play this turn, assuming that my safe house wants to get ready for a fight back. I'm also going to be drawing a bunch of cards with Nick. So there's a decent chance I find a different tech to play. But I've already drawn all 3 energy barriers. Okay, I want the tempo. So I'm going to practice plan this Widow's Bite back to hand. 1 additional Widowmaker trigger will kill the Hydra Bomber. Last card is full auto. So that would have me discarding 6 cards from the top of the encounter deck, and I would take 1 indirect damage for each boost icon discarded this way. I would absolutely not like that to happen, so I'm going to grappling hook to cancel that. Widowmaker is going to deal 1 damage to Crossbones, and I believe, well, okay, Tough, I know, Tough has priority over forced interrupts, so that will remove Crossbones' Tough status. Okay. Now I do wish that I had practice planned that instead, but what can you do? So let's just start with Nick. I think there's no way I played defensive stance, so let's pay 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nick, draw 3 cards. Okay, some really great pulls there. Covert Ops gives me a huge chunk of threat removal. But honestly, it's not really substantially better than Professor X, so I don't think I'll end up playing it. Let's have Black Widow and Nick thwart this Legions of Hydra. That'll take it out. I guess there's a world where I play both Covert Ops and Professor X. But at this point, I can flip down to Alter Ego. Pay 1 for the safe house. Let's use the safe house to get back ready for a fight. Use the gauntlet. slow down a little bit. Let's use the synth suit to play Leo. So now we'll use Leo to search up a tech. Basically doing this because if that top card was Grappling Hook, that, yep, okay, so that would have been my very last tech in the deck. So do this before we draw a card with Natasha's ability. Okay, this is looking a little better than I thought. So let's pay 1 for Ready for a Fight and draw a card with Natasha's ability. I love me a Change of Fortune, but I don't know if I can swing it this turn. Okay. Doing the math here, I actually, yeah. I still definitely wanted to do all those things, but, okay. We'll spend Gemma to play Widow's Bite. And that leaves me a perfect 3 more to play either Covert Ops or Professor X. And, yeah, I think Professor X is just better. Gives me an extra block to block Madame Hydra's attack. As opposed to 1 extra threat removed. So let's go 3 for Professor X. And confuse Crossbones. Oh, this is interesting. I did not think this through. So with Ready for a Fight, that confuse is going to go off first. So I would actually Ready for a Fight on Madame Hydra's scheme activation. Okay, let's rewind this a little bit. I think this is still right. We might get an extra attack, so I don't think the 1 thwart is such a big difference. There is a small argument to stun Madame Hydra. Rather than confuse Crossbones. I mean, I'm dead to so many things, I probably shouldn't think about this too much, but if there's a sliver of hope, I want to try to get it. Okay, I'm going to confuse Crossbones. Professor X and White Widow will thwart Legions of Hydra. For 5. And end the turn. If I make it through this turn, things are actually looking pretty good because I'm very set up now. But this is going to be the hardest turn to make it through. Alright, 1 threat on the main scheme. Crossbones is confused. When Madame Hydra would scheme, we'll trigger Ready for a Fight. To flip to hero form, we'll Widowmaker 1 onto Crossbones armor. So Madame Hydra attacks for 2. Nick Fury will block this. And then we put 2 threat on Legions of Hydra. Now we get 3 encounter cards. We're dead to full auto and advances. So Hydra Soldier, another weapon, and Hard as Nails give the villain a tough status card. So a miraculous survival there. I kind of just blitzed through that, but I might have wanted to Widow's Bite somewhere. No, I'm going to say I missed it this time. So, okay. Professor X is discarded at the end of the round. And now we can do some cooking. So let's go White Widow and Black Widow thwart down Legions of Hydra. Oh, sorry. For some reason, okay. In my head I thought we were at main scheme 3. But so we wouldn't have lost to an advance there. Okay. But we thwarted this down. So now I'm done in hero form already. I want to make sure I get back attack with Safe House. There's 1 card in deck, so I will actually have a live search with Leo. Yes, excellent. We'll use Leo to get the other gauntlet. So let's just use this gauntlet to play Ready for a Fight. No, sorry. First we'll use Safe House to get something out of our discard before I shuffle. Although I could just like spend attack acrobatics or something and get it back. But leaning towards grappling hook because don't see myself surviving a full auto. I haven't thought through all my resources yet, but let's just get a grappling hook. Pay 1 for Ready for a Fight, draw a card, get an encounter card, reshuffle. Shouldn't have shuffled that much because now we're going to use Leo to go find the other gauntlet. Spend a Gemma to play the gauntlet. And now assess things here. So, pay 2 for grappling hook, Winter Soldier for free. Agent 13. I'm just now remembering why I originally had a Helicarrier instead of Quinn Carrier, because that is readyable by Agent 13, whereas Quinn Carrier is not. But Agent 13 is still very live on the Safe House, so I guess that is where I will have to use her if I do use her. So, right, I have exactly enough in hand to play Agent 13. Covert Ops also sounds very good. I think I'm going to have to use up White Widow on a block this turn. Okay. So another option, well, I could not play Grappling Hook. But then I'm super dead to full auto. If I didn't play Grappling Hook, that would let me play Espionage instead, and then I have an extra resource to throw around. I don't think that makes too much of a difference. Alright, let's pay 2 for Grappling Hook. Play Winter Soldier for free. Gonna have the same situation with Crossbone confused and then ready for a fight. Triggers off a minion. Huh. Okay. So I guess maybe let's keep Agent 13 in hand. Pay 3 for Covert Ops. As a reminder, this is just an action, not a hero action, so remove 4 threat from a scheme and confuse the villain. Remove 4 threat from Cornered Staff and confuse Crossbones. Also, I guess, so maybe I don't need to use White Widow to block. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to keep Agent 13 in hand, and let's start attacking here. So let's attack Madame Hydra for 2. And end the turn. Okay, well, got some potentially better allies to play instead of Agent 13 now. Ooh, could be a great Winter Widow Soldier Spy turn. Alright, 1 threat on the main scheme. Crossbones is confused. I'm gonna let Hydra Soldier scheme because it's only 1. Wait, no, sorry. This is at 5. So let's not do it that way. Yeah, this is at 4. We put it up to 5. Yeah. So, okay. Ready for a fight when Hydra Soldier would try to scheme. So we'll flip. We will heal 1 from White Widow. And with Widowmaker, see, Madame Hydra is teed up really nicely for Winter Widow Soldier Spy. So I think I'm going to put the 1 on Hydra Soldier. Then the attack is for 2. So I'm going to take 1 and Energy Barrier 1 back at Hydra Soldier. Madame Hydra attacks. We'll do the same thing. Take 1 and Energy Barrier 1 back at Hydra Soldier. I am realizing that if I kill off Hydra Soldier this way, I'll have to reveal this encounter card right away. Kind of makes me wish I had just started damaging here. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say, so I haven't gotten any new information since I started doing this. Because that was ready for a fight flip, 2 energy barriers. Haven't gotten any new information, so I'm gonna say that I hit Madame Hydra 3 times instead. Alright, now I get the normal 2 encounter cards this time, but a third from running through the deck. So there is a Hydra Soldier. Very inclined to pop the Widow's Bite on this one. Not sure I can swing killing both of those this turn. But maybe I can. I think, again, just maybe for tempo, let's pop the Widow's Bite. So we'll deal 2 damage to this and stun it. And then for Widowmaker, we'll finish off Madame Hydra. And then we'll heal White Widow again. Crossbones Assault. Okay, 2 threat side scheme with acceleration. When defeated, Crossbone activates. So it might not be clear on that one for a while. And then a gang up. This is another heck of a grappling hook. So we will cancel that. And let's deal 1 damage to... I mean, 2 is such a nice amount of damage to leave here. Yeah, I'm going to go 1 on Crossbones here. Let's hit off this tough. Okay. Well, this has been one crazy game so far. And we are primed to ready for a fight again, so everything is working as intended. So, Winter Widow Soldier Spy is put a preparation upgrade from your discard pile into play. So the best value there is going to be Grappling Hook, because that is a 2 cost preparation. So yeah, I think this one's a no-doubter. I'd probably still play Nick first though. So, okay, I'm either going to play Nick or Professor X. Now it is actually slightly awkward that Crossbones is confused if I go into the villain phase with them confused. So I think we'll go for Nick. So here's 3 from hand, plus Quinn Carrier for Nick, draw 3 cards. Okay, nothing else in, oh, sorry. Let's, oh, sorry, and this is a hero form as well. So let's thwart for 2 on the main scheme. Then pay 2 for Winter Widow Soldier Spy. So put Grappling Hook into play. And deal 4 damage to this Hydra Soldier. When defeated, get dealt an encounter card. flip down. Start with Leo. I'm seeing a lot of my techs already. Got energy barrier. Not going to play synth suit yet. Let's just get energy barrier. Well, in that case, if it's just going to be a resource anyways, maybe I do get synth suit. Energy barrier also kind of keeps me alive. There's a small chance I would play it. I'm going to have 2 for the hook. I get 1 card in hand with Safe House. No, I think I'm not playing whatever I get, so let's get Synth Suit. Safe House. Ready for a fight. A Gauntlet for ready for a fight. Draw a card. One resource inefficient, that's fine. Pay 2 for grappling hook. And pay 1 for Widow's Bite. Let's keep Covert Ops in hand. Oh, you know what? Let me rewind some stuff. Take back Widow's Bite, take back the hook. Well, if I play Covert Ops, then I could clear Crossbones Assault. His activation just hits the Confuse. Then I'm kind of not ready for him to attack me anyways. Oh, that's a lie. That's a lie. I think I just live with the acceleration though. I'll do what I already did. Keep Covert Ops in hand. I still think I just will keep that in hand. And yeah, I want to leave this Hydra soldier alive. Well, okay. I was gonna leave him alive just for the tempo, because just kick that encounter card down a turn, given that the Hydra soldier won't be activating. But I'm kind of wasting activations if I do that. So I'll attack him. I'll have Nick Fury take him out. Get dealt another encounter card. White Widow thwarts for 2. And Winter Soldier now will attack for 2. I don't think he has Retaliate. Piercing, ranged, and ranged, but no Retaliate. So 2 more goes onto the armor. And end the turn. My deck is very small now. Whoops. Nope, sorry, yep. 6-card hand. So 2 on the main scheme from the acceleration. Crossbones wood scheme, so let's ready for a fight instead. After triggering the preparation, we'll deal him 1 damage, which knocks out the armor, and White Widow will heal for 1. We'll do the interrupt, discarding, geez, again, a 0 boost icon, so very lucky there. I had 1 to throw on to Nick, and honestly, I could have thrown up to 2 more on White Widow, and she would probably heal it back again, so maybe not ultimately that lucky, considering the situation, but it does feel kind of lucky. For the attack itself, Nick will block. There's Shadow of the Past gone, which is nice. And 2 more encounter cards for a total of 4. Hydrajet Trooper. Let's do our little Widow's Bite trick. Widow's Bite to deal it 2 damage, and Widowmaker to deal it 1 more. Exhaustion. So Grappling Hook cancels all the effects of a treachery and discards it. So we'll Grappling Hook this. So that includes canceling the Surge, and then we'll Widowmaker Crossbones for 1 damage. Raid the Armory, Insight 1, and then discard down to a weapon. Don't think that's worth canceling, especially when there's another full auto in the deck, so we'll Insight 1. I don't know if we have any weapons left. Okay, there we go. No weapons. Feels kind of cheesy again, but I guess it does. It does put some real extra threat pressure on. Getting to the acceleration this early, so. And then an assault, which I will need either a block for or a grappling hook. Winter Soldier's got 1 more activation left before getting his value from a block. Gonna need Safe House to get ready for a fight back. Both grappling hooks gone, so I don't think I'm gonna get this one back. I think I just block with Winter Soldier. Boost ability, if this card resolves during an undefended attack, discard a support you control. But it was a defended attack, so Winter Soldier will die. Okay, with that, I'm about an hour in, so I'm just gonna take a break. This is a good time for me to take a break, as well as it does seem we've turned a corner. So I feel very confident about things here, but I'm going to cut the video, shuffle when I get back, so you know I'm not pulling any shenanigans. See you in 2 seconds. All right, back from my cut, so just do a little shuffle. Looking at the hand here, we've got a pretty good Face the Past turn. We'll get 1 attack in, and then maybe 1 attack from Mockingbird, and then kill it with the Widowmaker ability when we pop Ready for a Fight. So then I'll get us draw 2 with Change of Fortune, so I think an easy Face the Past turn. And I don't really care about all of these weapons. If I've got just a crazy amount of resources lying around, I guess I'll discard some of them, but not necessarily going to plan on it. And just start pushing damage. If I can. So the first question for myself is if I'm going to play Covert Ops, which I think I am. So in that case, I don't really want to thwart the main scheme, at least with Black Widow. So let's just attack Crossbones for 2. Then we'll face the past, so this removes from the game. We'll get Taskmaster and draw 3 cards. And ready. And then we can't attack the villain. Well, it's you cannot attack the villain, so we could still attack like with an ally perhaps. So let's attack Taskmaster for 2. Well, let's think here. There's a small chance I would play Dance of Death. No, I don't think I would. Attack Taskmaster for 2. Let's pay 1 for Change of Fortune. So I'm going to have 3 for Mockingbird. Well, okay, we're going to get a lot here once I flip. But yeah, I think I'm done in hero form. So I'll flip down. Let's just get out ready for a fight. That's the one I'm for sure going to play no matter what. Draw a card. Should have done Leo first, but I think I'm probably out of techs. Yeah, well, only 2 cards left, so. All right, so what to get back with Safe House? I mean, probably just the other grappling hook. Like, that's just such good value. I could consider getting a Widow's Bite back, especially because of those quickstrike minions. I actually don't hate that. Let's get a Widow's Bite. With the Safe House. So let's pay 3 for Mockingbird. Stun Crossbones. Okay, we'll be slightly inefficient here, or I could keep a card in hand. Maybe I just keep ready for a fight in hand. It's such a crucial card to just get every turn. So pay 1 for Widow's Bite. Pay 3 for Covert Ops. Removing 4 threat from the main scheme. And confusing Crossbones. Keep ready for a fight in hand. Mockingbird will attack Taskmaster for 1. Of course, we'll wait to kill him for the villain phase so that we can draw 2 with Change of Fortune. And then we'll have White Widow just attack Crossbones for 1. And end the turn. Let's go through the deck, get an encounter card. 15 cards out. 2 in the victory display, 13 in play. 3 in hand, so this is only a 22 card deck. Very small. So we get 3 on the main scheme. Crossbones is confused. When Taskmaster would scheme, we're going to ready for a fight into hero form. Ping him for 1 damage. Draw 2 with change of fortune. And then 2 more encounter cards for a total of 3. So there's Shadow of the Past. So Taskmaster is gone, so this would just be our scheme and a surge. Don't think I can actually cancel this with grappling hook because I'm still just dead to full auto. So I think I've just got to resolve that. We shuffle this in. And right, because our Nemesis minion does not enter play this way, this card gains Surge. Okay, I'm thinking, okay, Widow's Bite was a bit too cute. I definitely just should have gotten Grappling Hook to have 2 grappling hooks. Because I still want to cancel Underfire if that comes up. I need to cancel full autos. So 4 threat there, and then Shadow of the Past surges. We get Legions of Hydra, which will go find us Madame Hydra again. And it'll get 7 threat. Then a Hydra Soldier, and then Hard as Nails give the villain a tough status. Oh, I keep... Well, okay. I might Widow's Bite that Hydra Soldier. Probably not, actually. White Widow, I'll heal 1 from Ready for a Fight. Alright, so we'll give Crossbones a tough and go to the turn. Well, so luckily I didn't even use Grappling Hook there, so I could get 2 grappling hooks into play. I'm honestly just not thinking this is a game for Synth Suit, because I'm not going to be discarding all of these weapons. Also, unless I draw another ally, I'm not getting Legions of Hydra cleared this turn. But I'll have a pretty robust defense for that extra encounter card. Part of me wants to recover, but I don't think I can afford to do that. Alright, so I'll just thwart for 2 on Legions of Hydra. Flip down. Let's play Ready for a Fight. Draw a card. Okay, yeah, bad ordering by me there. I should have done Leo first like I did earlier in the game. So either Energy Barrier or Widow's Bite. I already got 2 Energy Barriers in hand, but could save me a lot of damage. something to play. Okay, we'll get energy barrier. All right, let's go. Safe house, just to get this ready for a fight back. It's just going to be a resource. But then I'll pay 2 for grappling hook. Two for energy barrier. 2 for energy barrier. Honestly, got a lot of damage coming. I think it might just be turbo damage time to the villain. So I've got 2 for energy barrier, Twin Carrier for acrobatics, and then a practiced plan. Like, this is a lot of damage. So I'm gonna have a White Widow thwart the main scheme. So it's gonna get 4 in step 1, so that won't pop. I don't have enough to clear Legions of Hydra anyways. And then Mockingbird is going to be blocking for me, so let's get into damage somewhere. Let's go on the Hydra Soldier, because I think I've got a good way to trigger. I think I should be able to trigger Change of Fortune here this turn. So we'll end the turn. Okay, Dance of Death could help with the damage push if there's a possible lethal. Or even just over 2 turns. So 4 threat on the main scheme, up to 5 out of 6. There's that one card that's got Insight 1. That is slightly annoying. Okay, when Crossbones would scheme, we'll trigger Ready for a Fight. We'll flip. We'll hit Hydra Soldier for 1 damage with Widowmaker. So Crossbones would like to attack instead, but he's stunned. Kind of forgot about that because it was hidden under the tough. Madame Hydra is going to attack. We will pop 2 energy barriers to prevent both of the damage. And deal that to the Hydra Soldier. So that is defeating an enemy in the villain phase, so we'll draw 2 with Change of Fortune. After she attacks, we put 2 threat on Legions of Hydra. Oh, and when Hydra Soldier is defeated, we get an encounter card. So now we get 3 more. Okay, Hail Hydra. Each Hydra minion engaged with the hero makes an attack. Okay, so that's really not that bad. So I won't cancel that. We'll get attacked for 2. Let's use up our energy barriers again. 1 from the one that had 3, 1 from the one that had 2. These are separate interrupts, so I think this is 2 instances of 1 damage, so we'll hit the tough and do 1 more damage. Full auto. This is going to be a cancel with grappling hook. 1 damage with Widowmaker. Heal White Widow. There's another Legions of Hydra, which will come in with 7 threat. And then a Hydra Jet Trooper, who I could obviously kill with Widow's Bite, or I could Energy Barrier. But yeah, I think Widow's Bite wins by a lot there, so Widow's Bite to take it out. Okay. I think I have enough resources amassed where I can actually, I'm going to have 2 grappling hooks in play. I'm going to get 4 encounter cards. Seven cards in deck, so we're gonna, yeah, we're going to run out the deck unless I just hold on to a card in hand. So I think it's just full damage on Crossbones. With the possible exception of playing around Advance. So one covert ops might make its way in there. So yeah, I'd be surprised if it's a win this turn. So Crossbones 3 has 16 health, so I need to do 24. Maybe it's possible, but that feels like a lot. Maybe if we get lucky with this, with Attack Acrobatics boost pulls. Could also play Presser X instead of Covert Ops once again. Yeah, I either want to, I think I want to thwart 4 off of here again. So that an advance just pushes us to stage 3. I should have a win over 2 turns very easily. And also I might have just full ally slots. So I'm going to play Winter Soldier for free. Let's play Dance of Death before Retaliate becomes a potential issue. Okay, so here's an attack for 2. And then Dance of Death paying 1, 2. Oh, I've got 2 covert ops. Not playing both covert ops. 1, 2, 3 for Dance of Death. So we'll deal 6 damage, advancing us to stage 3. When revealed the top weapon card here. So indeed, we do have Retaliate 1, which isn't a huge deal, actually, because a lot of the damage from Black Widow is just going to come from popping preparations. Comes in on 16 health. Then we'll flip down. Let's Leo. I think I don't have anything. Oh no, I had one Widow's Bite left. Pay 1 for Ready for a Fight. And draw with Widow's ability. Let's Safe House to get that grappling hook back. Pay 2 for grappling hook. And yeah, actually this works out here because I've got one card to hang on to. That's going to make me not run out the deck. It's probably not that big of a deal. There's one Dance of Death left in the deck, so almost certainly we'll have the win next turn. So let's keep, I guess technically Agent 13 represents like potential damage, so let's pay these 3 for Covert Ops, 4 threat off the main scheme, confuse Crossbones, and we might even kill him in the villain phase here. So White Widow and Winter Soldier will attack for a total of 3. And they each take a retaliate. I don't think Mockingbird attacks, just to play around an extra attack activation. And we'll end the turn. Sorry, it's one of my slightly lesser organized games, but for obvious reasons. Oh, I miscounted because I ended up drawing that Widow's Bite. I mean, so much damage, but obviously I have to survive, but a pretty decent chance to. Well, I guess Dance of Death does play pretty poorly into Retaliate, but I can always discard that if it would be a significant issue. I guess I have 11 damage on board if I triggered all my preps. Acrobatics might give us the extra. All right, let it begin. 4 threat on the main scheme. Crossbones is confused. When Madame Hydra would scheme, we pop Ready for a Fight. We'll flip, heal 1 from White Widow, deal 1 to Crossbones. Madame Hydra attacks, I prevent both of the damage, and deal 2 damage to Crossbones. Now we get 4 encounter cards, with 2 grappling hooks at the ready. Raid the Armory. So this is going to advance the main scheme, but I'd rather save the grappling hooks. There's worse things. It's kind of like canceling an advance, honestly. But yeah. So okay, so this goes up to 6. When this is revealed, we reveal the top card of experimental weapons. After the villain attacks and damages you, discard 1 card from your hand. I want to keep Retaliate on top so I don't forget. And then we discard until a weapon attachment is discarded, reveal that card. Is this guaranteed to get the machine gun? Oh, whether it was guaranteed or not, we got the machine gun. Comes in with 2 ammo counters. Up next, Hydra Flame Soldier. So this is totally fine, and I don't have a Widow's Bite, so okay, nothing to do there. Hydra Bomber. Let's place 1 threat on the main scheme. One threat isn't going to make any difference. And now we've got 2 cards left, and a guaranteed win. Exhaustion will pop Grappling Hook, deal 1 to Crossbones. Advance will pop Grappling Hook, deal 1 to Crossbones. All right, one last check, make sure I'm not missing anything. But we'll spend Quinn Carrier for a mental and an energy just to get rid of the Retaliate 1. We'll pay 3 for Dance of Death and attack for 2 for a total of 8, taking out Crossbones. Well, super exciting game. Had a pretty lucky start, but then a very unlucky next turn. Trying that double Legions of Hydra, which obviously spawns Madame Hydra. But the resiliency of this deck was really on full display, being able to weather the storm of all those encounter cards. Now it helps that, I mean, basically every single one of these weapons is irrelevant, since we're negating his activations anyways, either with a stun or with an ally block. A couple of those encounter cards that just give a tough, like those are whiffs. Minions are annoying. I mean, the Hydra soldiers that, you know, deal extra encounter cards, those are quite annoying. And right, we never really like stabilized per se. We just turned towards damage at the end once we had enough set up. And if I would have tried to stabilize, we might not have been able to do that. So I don't want to give myself too much credit for recognizing that it was time to just do damage, because I think it was kind of obvious there, but certainly the right move once we were all set up, considering how immune Black Widow is to lots of the potential threats that can come due to those grappling hooks. She was just really set up to make that final push and survive just long enough to get there. Great showing for the deck as well. I realized, like I said midway, that Quinn Carrier could be Helicarrier to combo a little better with Agent 13, but it's really performing a very similar function to the safe house. So I think as long as you can ready the safe house with Agent 13, you're fine. I think the 3 ready for a fight was absolutely correct. I was thinking maybe only 1 because you can just recur it with the safe house, but what if it's, what if you've got a reshuffled deck, So, and we triggered it every single turn, and if there was any turn there where we didn't trigger it, like we would have easily lost. So, extremely pleased with the 3 copies of Ready for a Fight, and just with the card in general, helping me feel validated with me claiming how much of a paradigm shift that card is for solo protection. And obviously just a huge, massive upgrade for Black Widow as well. So, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Keep progressing through the Rise of Red Skull here next, taking on the Absorbing Man scenario. So, one of the easiest scenarios in the game, so we'll see if we can get a win with one of the generally weaker heroes in the game whenever we get that opportunity. So, hope you'll tune in for that. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.